So, this is probably going to go up a little bit late because it took me about 30 minutes to get my OBS to cooperate. So, I'm sorry about that, but let's go over this a little bit because luckily for me, a lot didn't really happen. A lot of stuff we had already talked about in previous dev streams. The first thing they kind of went over was the Excalibur rework. So the slash dash, ping pong, single hit, like a mini blade storm, as said before. Radial blind can be used while on the move, but we did find out that it can initiate finishers, which I don't think we heard previously. Radial javelin is going to be Excal's new 3, and it's going to get changed slightly so that it doesn't overlap with radial blind, apparently. And then he's going to have his energy sword stancing thing, like with Valkyr, that's going to have energy waves coming off of it, which should be good. Potentially. I hope so. We got to see some minor animations, but nothing beyond normal sword swings that were very unexciting. And we've basically heard all this before, which is why I'm trying to go so fast. And then for Parkour 2.0, which Geoff said on the last stream that we'd be seeing a lot of, well, not so much Geoff as everyone else, but we did get to see a lot of it. They demoed it slightly. Nothing really too insane or anything. I only have a couple comments to go over with it. The first is you can stop on walls, which looks good, and you can climb upwards while you're running left and right, so you can like angle yourself based on where you're aiming, which looks really interesting and is a good change. And during the demo, they had infinite stamina on, which is what I would do for Warframe to make the whole game better, is just take stamina out. Just take it out. And the game becomes better, I think. Like, from the perspective of someone who's played a lot of it, stamina is the system that is the least fun to, like, interact with, or have to, like, waste mod slots trying to make it slightly better and crutch it up. But that's just my opinion. Other things that were shown, charge jumps, those look awesome. Charge jumps look like they could replace a lot of what we're doing with flinging right now, depending on how they turn out as, like, their final form. And then they said that, I did not write this down, but I remember it. Good lucky me. Coptering is going to be affected by being tweaked and costing more stamina. So we could have coptering dying, which I know is not going to be a lot of people's favorite thing to hear. I personally dislike how coptering looks, so if they changed how it looks visually, that would be enough for me. But I don't want to see it go away as a movement option for people. And then they had 3 questions that I thought were fairly important, and it's how will stamina be affected, which I just want it to be unlimited for the minimum moving around because it's a pain. And they said that it was going to be determined, but will be changed significantly. So that is either a good sign or a terrible sign. So it's impossible to say. Asked about old level design being changed, and old tiles will be changed to fit new stuff, possibly more secret areas, stuff like that. And as for when it is going to be coming out, they're trying to do it on Update 17, which is in no way a guarantee, because a lot of stuff is already going to be packed into 17, I think. And then, speaking of that, we have the underwater tile set, which they did a quick walkthrough of some of the tiles, and my sarcasm is palpable even in my notes. It's underwater. Woo! It's underwater. Okay, that's awesome. Hooray. Awesome. If you like it being underwater, if you like the underwater theming of things, it's that. And it's going to be used in the next event at 16.5 for a little preview of that on PC. And then the last little opinion from me is it's visually, it's cool, but like in terms of it being different and being like a lot of like bigger rooms and stuff like that, it's basically just the same Grineer ship that you know, except for we put it underwater, and now you can look out the window and see underwater instead of outer space. So I mean, it's fine, but in terms of gameplay, it didn't seem very particularly exciting, except for to look at. And then they talked about a Kubrow foundry upgrade, which is going to be a new quest, and it's going to auto-stasis Kubrows that would die. Kubrow armor is going to be coming out, and there's going to be a new Kubrow breed, which we got a name tentatively of, which is the Retriever type. I'm hoping that this is going to be something that can surpass Carrier for once, and can be like clearly better than Carrier and worth all of the bullshit the Kubrows take. So, got a minor thing on the Kubrow. And we don't know what all the foundry upgrade for Kubrows is going to do. So it could do a lot more other things to make having a Kubrow reasonable for someone that doesn't want to farm hundreds of thousands of credits every week, or about 100,000 a week, but whatever. 100,000 a week isn't so, like 100,000, especially for players that would want a Kubrow. It's like, that's a dog. I want it. I'm early on in the game. I have about 50,000 credits at any given time because I've been building everything. That's not a viable thing for them, and you're always wanting to build and do more stuff in Warframe, but that's just my opinion. And then we got some word on Conclave changes, which may be exciting to some, not so much to others. Personally, I've been liking the Conclave. I've played it quite a bit. There's going to be the new Annihilation mode, which is what they're calling Team Deathmatch. And Deathmatch, except for it has the like confirmed kill function, where an enemy that dies will drop something that you need to collect to receive a point, which is fine. I think it makes it so that it's going to be a lot more movement focused, and snipers are going to be at a higher disadvantage, and you're going to want to get close, which I think is good to make people aggressive instead of defensive. And I think that is a welcome way to do deathmatch in Warframe. And then the new frames that are going into Conclave are Valkyr, Ember, and Oberon. I don't know how their powers are going to be tweaked. They didn't talk about that at all. But I know for sure that one of the few things that I've kind of been predicting is that Ember is going to be really good in Conclave. I don't know why I think that, but it seems like she needs to be good in Conclave because she's not really good at otherwise. Like, she's fine in the early game, the very, very early game, but then Ember doesn't do anything later on, so I would like for her to be usable in Conclave because I like Ember. Her powers don't work as well as I would like. Okay, and then on to things that are way more important. They kind of gloss over a lot of this stuff, but it's like the most important thing they talked about the entire Devstream. The changes to the Void and the star chart at large. They want to condense like the 300 nodes that they have right now into 20 nodes. And then Steve was saying that the old star chart was better because it was like they world like World 1-1, World 1-2, like Mario style progression where you know where you're going and you know what you're doing next, which is like it's a like easy thing to follow. Like you do this, you do this, you do this, and it goes in a line, and that makes way more sense. And they talked about because they're going to do 300 nodes into 20, there are other changes that they need to make, and there's reasons that they're making them. And one of them is that you would be able to potentially craft a mission, which, done correctly, would be really awesome. I will give somebody, like, if you want to, like, just drop, like, 500 ferrite and some credits, and then make a specific mission that is, like, very, like, exactly what you want, like, basically no RNG except for what tiles show up. That's what I want. Because then that would be good. Otherwise, if it's like crafting a mission costs like 7 Argon or like 20 Orokin cells, that's not going to be okay. So doing that correctly would be nice. And then they said that they want to like move, like missions would just like come in and be like, the example that I heard was Corrupted Vor is here right now and he's dropping this stuff right now, which seems fine in theory, but like that means that basically all items would be on an alert rotation for all time, which is either really good or really bad. Probably really bad. I'm hoping it's really good. It could be good, it could be terrible. But the goals that they have is that they don't want ghost town nodes where you have 300 nodes and then you have 2 nodes that everyone plays, a la Draco and Kappa, and then Apollodorus, and then the boss nodes, and then everything else has 0 or 1 squad at the fucking maximum. They want that to stop. But because of that, Kappa and Draco and Apollodorus and those places that you just go and farm all day and never stop doing that are probably going to go away, is I think what they are going for, so that people don't just get on and run Draco and then get off. They want it to be more interactive and where like you want to do other things besides I am Energy Siphon Trinity. I'm here to do Draco, and then I'll be leaving. So that is fine. It's going to piss a lot of people off with that change, but it's probably okay. I think that eventually it will be a better system if they do it right. We can't have certain like mods or rewards be like Vauban. Like, it can't just come around every once in a blue moon, but be guaranteed. But you can't do that with so much stuff. Like, let's say, for example, that you need Streamline, and it can drop from an enemy, but also, well, no, that would be good. I don't know. If they do it in the right way, it'll actually be fine. But it can't turn into, like, there's so much stuff that if you weren't awake at this time on this day, you have to wait months to get something you want, because that's bad. I don't know. It goes back and forth a lot, and I've been thinking about it for a little while. So it's either great or it's terrible, and it's going to be one or the other, and hopefully they change it if it's terrible, because otherwise we're going to have really big problems. It's not going to be great. But I know that, and I've been feeling the pain of this, because obviously I'm doing the free-to-play through. Right now, I'm working through the nodes that people don't get to, because like there's a drop-off point, and this happens with all free-to-play games. It's not just Warframe, where you're playing through a game, and let's say you start on Mercury, and you have Venus, and you have Earth, and you do those three. Well, a lot of people are done with the game now. They're like, whatever. I'm not interested. Like, what have you. Like, I don't like the game that much anymore. I've been playing too long. Whatever that is. And then they stop playing. And after that drop-off point, then you have a significantly lower margin of people that are working through content, and catching them at the exact right time to do one of the 17 nodes they need to go do is really hard. To get, like, all of those people that need to progress into the same area. So, like, for example, I needed to do Kepler, I think it was, on Phobos. But in order to do Kepler, and I wanted to do the mission with people that need to do Kepler, because if I wanted, like, one of my people who, like, that are, like, MR18 and have almost everything in the game to carry me, then I could do that. But that's not, like, playing the game vanilla and not, like, basically cheating. Because, like, if I just had someone show up and it was like, oh, I gave you my Mesa build on my other account, just kill everyone, that'll be great. It's like, that's not the way you should be playing the game, and it's not, like, a genuine experience. So I've been not doing it. But I was trying to do Kepler for, like, 2 days straight. And, like, I could have, like, asked, but, like, you shouldn't have to, like, go to recruiting to do a regular-ass defense mission, because that's not fun. I don't know. That's more personal level, but I know it affects a lot of people, and it's one of the reasons a lot of people quit, because you get to a string of, like, 20 nodes, and it's like, I have to play all these by myself. It's like, this is mainly a co-op game. And I know a lot of people play solo. That's an entirely different story if you want to play solo. And I'm sure it's fine for all of those people, but for people like me that like to interact with other people, me blowing the Grenier's heads off, like, alone, like, not even talking to anyone for, like, hours, like, it gets old after a while. That's just me. But, yeah. So hopefully it's good. Yeah, Excalibur rework. Hopefully that's also very, very soon. Parkour 2.0. The only thing in it so far, charge jumps look awesome. Stamina changes could be fantastic. That's about it. Underwater tileset, I wish it was more different. Kubrow foundry upgrade, hopefully there's more to it than just that. And then Conclave actually is probably the... Conclave is the change that I'm, like, or the addition that I'm least worried about. I think Annihilation is probably going to be good regardless. And aside from Valkyrie, Ember, and Oberon having maybe balancing issues, it's probably going to be fine. So, that's that. And I'm sorry this is going to be a little late. Because, OBS, why you do this? Sorry about that. And thank you for watching, and share it with your friends, and do all those other things YouTubers say. You know.